Welcome to the Pune Grand Tour podcast series. We prepare to host India's first UCI 2.2 multi-stage race with riders from 15 countries. We are talking to the people who have shaped cycling culture in Pune and in India. Today we have someone who doesn't just ride bikes, she builds ecosystem. A true pioneer of ultra cycling in India, founder of Inspire India and Audix India Randonneurs. First Indian woman to qualify for PBP, that is Paris-Brest-Paris, and received Mark Leffer Award, and in 2024 Nancy Guth Award by VUCA, World Ultra Cycling Association. The one and only Divya Tate. Hi Divya, it's an honor to have you on Pune Grand Tour podcast.
Thank you, Neha. It's great to be here and chatting about cycling as always.
Right. So yes, let's start with your cycling journey. How this all cycling, ultra cycling especially, it started?
So I have been cycling as an adult. I started cycling in 1992. And because you talked about ecosystem, and that's connected because the ecosystem from 1992 was very vastly different from what we see today.
Absolutely.
And so for the first 18 years that I was riding till 2010, I didn't participate in any events because there weren't any events to participate in. So I was just doing all kinds of other cycling, like commuting, going to work, and just leisure, touring, etc. And there was the word training I had never even thought of or heard about it at all. And then the first BRM was announced, the 200-kilometer brevet, which is under the Audax Club Paris, this thing. That was in January of 2010.
The BRM club was from Pune?
The club that time was originally in Bombay, but then after that all the other brevets I started as an organizer also.
Right.
So for the 200 BRM, which was in Mumbai, I signed up, and I think there was one other woman, perhaps one other girl, but in a group of about 80, 90, we were the only two, and I finished that 200. And even to do that 200-kilometer event, which is over 12, 13 hours, I did have to do some amount of training from my leisure mindset to be able to actually finish in a certain time cutoff, etc. And then that was my introduction to ultra cycling, to a whole world of events, long distance racing, because in India till that point there was none of this, and so the ecosystem was what I would say like a barren ecosystem, and it was from that thing that, and then I got interested because for me, after so much of cycling, it was like something new actually happened and I experienced, and doing it with a group of other people. So then we moved on to 300 kilometers, 400 kilometers, 600, and then I learnt about Paris-Brest-Paris, which is a 1200k event in France, which actually predates Tour de France. They kind of started together and then they branched off. So there is a history over there. And then I worked to qualify for PBP in 2011 and went there. And that was another completely transformational moment because I had never seen anything like that, and France has such an incredibly engaged audience with cycling. They support cycling to next level.
Culture.
So they were actually celebrating people like us coming there as participants. It was a grand experience. And day and night, people on the roads cheering us, keeping coffee, soup, cake for us as we're passing by. So it was an eye-opening experience, and because I had 18 years till then of solo cycling with absolutely no inputs, seeing something like that made me think that this is such a huge potential for things to develop in India. And after that, I actually founded Audix India Randonneurs, and through that, very organically, the interest grew across the country. And soon after that, I was introduced to Race Across America, which I came to know.
But then getting into organizing part of it, how was it, Evan?
So I got drawn into the organizing because I loved the event so much myself that I just felt the desire to facilitate it and share it with whoever wanted to do it. So that was the platform that was how the platform developed rather. And when Audix India Randonneurs was founded, basically it was a lot of hand holding from my side because by then I had learned how to organize
Right.
completely on my own, through just doing one event after the other, and then hand-holding of organizers across the country. Clubs were formed across the country who started doing all these events themselves, and it was completely organic. I never had
So
to
Mumbai
promote.
was the first club in
Mumbai,
India?
so the first club was formed in Mumbai, and then after 2 or 3 events that they organized, by then I was already organizing in Pune, and then sort of the responsibility of organization from the first year itself moved to me, and then from that it grew. And so Pune Randonneers, which I established in 2010, was the first club that is still in existence, which has continuously over all these years continued to provide. So we are the oldest existing cycling club in India.
Right. So you have built India's endurance community from the ground up, right? So what has been the biggest milestone so far?
Wow, there are probably many milestones. As in any journey, there's a lot of milestones. So I guess the first milestone would have been my actual participation in an international event in Paris-Brest-Paris, and seeing how the deep connect between participants, the cyclists, and the audience on the roads. And then after that, I think was my exposure to Race Across America, which is a ultra racing event. Ultra
Can you just
race.
share some more details about RAM?
Yeah, so RAM is a 5,000 kilometer single stage event. So all these events that we do, unlike the UCI events, are single stage for the most part. And so Race Across America is with crew support, of course, and it's about 12 days you complete 5,000 kilometers. So I was exposed to it in 2012 as a crew member for another participant who was from India. And he was attempting RAM for the 3rd time when I went as a crew member, unsuccessfully. And that's when, to me, it was a little bit of a milestone moment in the sense of realizing what a big gap we have between a very nascent ecosystem in India. We were all very new to it. We didn't even have road bikes then. We were mostly on mountain bikes, and then road bikes were there, but then if you had some technical issue, there were no spares. So either if you had somebody who could do desi jugaad and fix it, fine, otherwise you have to wait for things to come. So that was the level at which we were. And then there's Race Across America, which absolutely requires.
And this was which year?
2012.
Okay.
So, and 2012 was his 3rd failed attempt. So which was to me a shock that after 3 attempts, if this person is not able to do it, having experienced 3 learning curves have been crossed and still not, that's the gap we have to bridge. So then I started Deccan Cliffhanger. That was how Deccan Cliffhanger was actually born, that we need a platform in India where we are pushing people.
So DC was the first qualifier race.
DC, actually there were other qualifying races, but again they died out soon. So that's another thing about, as an event organizer, one of the things that you have to keep in mind is to remain committed. You've said, I'm going to do this event, then you do the event, and you do it over and over and over again. Only then you build up that
community.
So it's been, this year we conducted the 12th edition of Deccan Cliffhanger. So it takes a bit of commitment to say, we're going to do it year after year regardless. And you don't know what's going to grow out of it. So an ecosystem is comparable with, say, a forest. So a seed falls from a tree, you don't know what's going to happen, but how many years it takes for one little seed to germinate into a tree that is then providing an ecosystem for so many other things. So Deccan Cliffhanger was kind of like a milestone moment, because when I started it, again, we sort of knew nothing much over here.
So Divya, your RAM journey started from crewing, right? Crewing for someone,
Yeah, so I crewed for someone from India in 2012. And his 3rd experience at attempting RAM, which had, and 3rd one was also a failure. So that was for me a big leap in understanding how wide what kind of a gap we had to bridge between what existed in India, our skill sets, our ability, training, equipment, everything, to what was going to be needed for being able to do Race Across America. And Race Across America demands a certain sophistication. And whereas we were so nascent over here, so bridging this gap was where where Deccan Cliffhanger came in. And Deccan Cliffhanger, we were very clear from day one that the idea was that this will only create people who are capable of doing RAM if they are ready to push themselves, challenge themselves.
So just explain what is Deccan Cliffhanger for the audience.
Right. So Deccan Cliffhanger is a RAM qualifying race of 640 kilometers, which goes from Pune to Goa. And that's part of the reason that Pune has become a kind of hub for ultra cycling in India. And since it's been 12 years now of doing Deccan Cliffhanger, and obviously a larger number of our participants are from Pune, Bombay, Nasik, with this as our sort of center. And Deccan Cliffhanger is a tough single stage race from Pune to Goa. It's called a non-stop, which is challenging. We have varied success rate of 30 to 40%. And it would be very easy to make the race easier to complete, but the whole purpose was to actually overcome a very challenging event. Because if you're targeting doing something more, and as a nation, building legacy of cyclists and racers who are able to do international events and meet the standard of events outside of the country, then we have to be willing to do really tough things over here.
Right, absolutely. And the race is just like in Mahabaleshwar or Sahyadris, where the Pune Grand Tour riders from Europe and everywhere, I think 40 plus countries have signed up for this event, and they're going to enjoy this Sahyadri. And yes. So, what makes Pune such a unique city for cycling culture?
I think Pune has a long history of having a large number of people cycling just to commute. It was a very cycling friendly city. Like I'm talking about in the 70s and 80s also, a lot of people just cycled to work over here. And in addition to that, there is a history with cycle racing here, the pro racing, which is the Mumbai-Pune race. So it comes from Mumbai and it ends in Pune. It always had a grand welcome into Pune city. We have people who have been associated with that race for a couple of generations in Pune, like Dashrath Pawar, his sons, Santosh and Vishal, who are part of the cycling community today in Pune. So I think that's one thing, and then for sure the terrain of this region is amazing for cycling.
Anywhere you go outside Pune, 20-30 kilometers and you have the
the mountains are right there.
Yes. But can you share any experience of Mumbai-Pune cycling?
I have personally no experience with that, only through association with others who have raced it before, but and I've heard stories of it, because it would end in the heart of Pune city, and the grand welcome that the racers would get when they finished this race.
What should international teams know about riding or racing in and around Pune?
So one thing that they can expect is the challenges of the terrain over here, which if there are uphill climbs in the race, then they have to be prepared for that.
They do have Purandar, Sinhagad, Rajgarh. Yes, the second stage, I think they have all these mountains and hills.
And the other thing would be then a caution, which is about coming downhill on these roads, because the downhills on these climbs are far steeper than most hill climbs in a lot of places, because these mountains are more like cliffs. So that's another thing that I think it would be wonderful if the international community who's coming over here knows a little bit about the history of the places that they're going to go, which the forts that were used by Shivaji Maharaj in the time, in historical context with this region.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great. Pune Grand Tour is bringing cyclists from 40 plus countries. What do you think that means for Indian cycling?
I think it would be great, because the ecosystem has really developed over the last 14-15 years since we started doing this. But this particular kind of cycling, which is the pro cycling, has not yet made that leap.
Right.
Of course, we have pro cycling races across the country, and we have the nationals in which people get a chance to perform.
Right.
And but we haven't as yet been able to
Form a
rise to
team or-
that
yes,
level
yes.
internationally. So
Right.
having a race like this here would give our participants a chance to understand
Yes.
about what they need to do to bridge that gap.
There's going to be a lot of learning for
Yes,
all of us.
yes, yeah. And then of course cross-cultural sort of
Right.
interactions and between cyclists from all across the world. And
Yes, we have always seen Tour de France on TV, television,
Right,
so it
right.
will be a treat for
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
us to
yeah.
watch them.
And such an aspirational thing for the
Absolutely.
younger ones to see that, okay, this is something else that they can think about and aspire to.
Right, right. What are the key elements that make a stage race special for riders and also for the fans?
So a stage race like the Grand Tour would be is different from the kind of events we do in that it's there are about 100 odd kilometers,
Right.
but a really fast, hard race. Then you have a recovery time before the next day is again a hard, fast race. The great thing about this is that there is a possibility for having an audience watch the racers come in.
Right.
Because in our kind of events, we don't have an audience. What are they going to
Right,
see,
yes.
right?
I know.
But here there's a possibility for an audience to be engaged
Yes.
with what they're
Yes.
seeing and what
Yes,
the racers are doing.
Right. Like how do people come out in Tata Mumbai Marathon? I have seen
Right.
Mumbaikars coming on the
Right.
street to cheer
Right.
all the
Right.
runners.
Right.
So, yes. You have seen riders grow through events like Deccan Cliffhanger, Ultra Spice. What qualities truly define an endurance champion?
I think of course, physical training is really important, but one of the most important factors that I have observed is a psychological or a mental capacity
Absolutely.
to be able to overcome all the challenges of everything from your training to the actual race itself and what is thrown at you. So being really focused and being really having strong willpower, that's one of the biggest factors that will ensure success in a race.
Right. Tell us more about Inspire India races like Ultra Spice, which we just mentioned.
So after I started Deccan Cliffhanger, which is 640 kilometers, as compared to the RAM itself, which is 5,000 kilometers.
Right.
So again, I noticed that there were stepping stones that were required. So once Deccan Cliffhanger was established, there was a need to introduce a multi-day ultra cycling race, and India has such incredible terrain.
Right.
So I chose a route across the southern mountains. So
Right.
it starts from Goa and it goes over the Sahyadris and into the Nilgiris. It's a tough race of 5 days of climbing over 5 to 6 days of climbing over these mountains.
Wow.
1750 kilometers.
And elevation?
Elevation is 20 something meters, I think. Sorry. I will not know that offhand. Yeah.
Okay. And about Himalayan?
Yeah, so right. So after we started the Ultra Spice race, and we gave people an opportunity to race day after day with their crew and learn how to be able to cope with the demands of a race that goes on over 10, 12 days like RAM,
Right.
which was the purpose of Ultra Spice. By that time, we had racers who were now who completed Race Across America. Right. All the solo racers who have completed RAM have qualified through Deccan Cliffhanger. Their first introduction to ultra cycling was this. So I feel I'm not going to be modest about it. I'm like, this is what we set out to do, and we've done that. Then Ultra Spice gave them the ability to match up their skill sets for RAM. Right. And then, like I said, India has this incredible terrain. So the next race that we introduced was the world's highest ultra cycling race, which is the Great Himalayan Ultra in Ladakh, which makes them go through another process of how to prepare for a race through ensuring acclimatization, safety, all those
Weather,
measures,
cold
lots of
nights,
climbing,
yes.
weather, exposure to the elements.
Right.
So that was the third race, and the fourth one was in a different terrain again, which is in the Rajasthan,
Right.
in the desert climate. So that's a long distance race again, 1350 kilometers.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Great.
and hopefully in the next few years we'll have more.
True. What advice would you give to new cyclists who want to get into long distance or especially competitive cycling?
I think, well, one thing is just you have to be prepared for doing a lot of hard work. It looks, we see the glamour side of these things,
Right.
but the fact of the matter is it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of commitment.
Right.
And in our country, we do have a little issue that sports are just not valued quite as much. It's changing now, to be sure. About 10, 15 years back, most parents would not really encourage their children to get
take
into
up as
any
a
kind of
career,
sport,
yeah.
which has changed because parents themselves are now doing things. So for the youngsters, that's there. But still, it'll take time for them to, for society, Indian society to value them.
Right.
But it's happening, and they need to just, put their nose to the grind and do the hard work that needs. Then there'll be fruit from that.
Right. So Divya, what, like from cycling to organizing, what role do organizers and community play in shaping a world-class racing ecosystem?
So the thing about events is that they give a chance for a larger audience to actually see something happening, see people pushing themselves, see competition between people, and then the outcomes of that. And these are glorified
Right.
outcomes for which a certain aspiration can build up. So you see someone doing that, and then you say, that is something that I could aim for.
Right.
But I need to improve myself. I need to cycle. I need to train. I need to.
Right.
So that aspirational quality is the one that events provide, and of course, event organizers then become the ones who are doing this.
Right.
And I would like to point out that at some point you must have decided that Deccan
Absolutely.
Cliffhanger was on
right,
your
because my coach said that he finished Deccan Cliffhanger and it was like, what is it, right from knowing that this race is flagged off, it gets flagged off from Pune, it goes to Goa, and you finish non-stop, you ride non-stop for 27, 28 hours. Everything was new for me. So I do agree with you. Yes, even in BRMs we see that, right? If my friend is doing 200, then it is for me that if I finish 100 kilometers, I look forward to it that, I should be at least attempting 200 with that person.
So it's just that little aspiration. It's a little ripple in the pond effect. You throw a little pebble in there and there's a ripple effect. And you don't know who is going to look at it and think, I would like to do that. People who have never cycled before will look at it and think, oh wow, that's something so awesome to do.
Right.
I mean, even if we talk about Kabir's story of how he started, the first time he attempted Deccan Cliffhanger, actually he didn't even finish in RAM qualification cutoff. Because he was very nascent and new to the whole thing.
Right.
But then look at the level of sophistication he's reached to have completed RAM three times, that too in podium.
Right.
So without having any knowledge about DC before he's signed up for it.
Absolutely amazing. What message would you like to give to Pune citizens as the city hosts this grand tour, international UCI 2.2 stage race in Pune?
I think it's something that Pune can be really proud of, and I think it's also a time in which we can also demand as citizens of the city to have improvements in the quality of the roads, quality of the traffic, a little more discipline in the traffic, and that is something that actually it's not the citizens, it's not a demand that the citizens can make, but it's a demand that they can make of themselves to behave better as the traffic themselves, because that is one of our issues over here. So I think that this is an opportunity in which we can improve on the safety conditions of the traffic in the city itself. So I hope for that outcome for us.
So Divya, being an organizer, what do you think, what are the factors you take into consideration while designing this route for the race?
So for us, because our races, all our events, BRMs and the RAM qualifiers races take place on open road where the public is also there during that time. So we have to ensure that we are neither obstructing them, nor are we getting obstructed by the regular day-to-day activities of the people along the route. So that's one factor of making sure that at whatever time, wherever we are passing through, it's not too much traffic or any possibility of congestion. And then the second factor, of course, is the quality of the road surface, which impacts the equipment, impacts the ability of racers to be able to finish this thing safely. And the most important thing, of course, is safety. So looking at the road from a perspective of a cyclist, that what is going to be safe or unsafe. So when we recce these routes, these are the things that we are ensuring that we are taking into account. And obviously we also are looking at the aesthetic quality of the race, which is how, you know, the beautiful views and
beautiful countryside.
us also being able to capture the cyclists in a beautiful landscape. And the cyclists enjoying that landscape too. So these are some of the factors that I'm sure even the
Pune Grand Tour, yes, it is passing through all the villages nearby. So I think they are building up these roads, and it is going to be, you know, blessing for us also, like local riders.
So seeing that the infrastructure that they are going to develop for this race, it will then be available to the public to be able to use after that is good news for us.
Yes, absolutely. So any message you would like to give it to Pune Grand Tour riders?
They're most welcome to this city, to this hub of ultra cycling that we have over here in Pune, and I hope they really enjoy the race, they enjoy the terrain.
Yes, we all are looking forward to
the
it.
terrain as well.
Yes.
And I hope that they also enjoy their interaction with the audience and the public of Pune city.
Right. It is going to be historic for all of us. Yes. So thanks Divya for coming today to share your knowledge, your journey, and for shaping Indian cycling to, you know, such a great extent. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This looks lovely. Thank you for having me here. It's been good to talk to the audience.
Yes. Thank you.